another episode of The Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And we are back here to review the season premiere of another show that we love. We just finished up Insecure, so Lena Waithe brought us The Chi. This is season 3, so we are back. And we have something more exciting to watch now that Insecure is over. So we're picking up, keeping the energy going. So I'm glad you guys are here with us today.
And let me say this, I loved the first episode. I think, Tiffany, you were kind of hot on it, and I hadn't seen it yet. And I have to agree. Mm-hmm. It's different than last season.
I was, the elephant in the room, we were all wondering how they were going to come back with it, with the departure of the Brandon character.
Right.
So it looks like they're on a good path.
I agree.
Okay. Well, if you guys hang tight, we'll be right back with you.
Busy where the last one burnt you, know that ain't cool. Wanna show you how I'm nothing like him. Swear that's the truth. So you can't trust that
Okay, so welcome back, everyone. And like I said, we are talking about The Chi season 3 premiere, and season 2 kind of left off on a cliffhanger because we were wondering about the Brandon character and where they would take that. But this episode, we kind of found out that his character got killed off, and we understand why, because of, reasons behind the scenes. So I think the big question was, where are they going to head in the direction of the show? And while I understand, why they let that character go, it's very unfortunate because I really
he was
did
a fan favorite.
Work on the show.
I think he was definitely one of my favorites.
He was one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
He had a lot of talent, and he seemed like he was really a rising star. And so what was going on behind the scenes was really unfortunate. And my heart goes out to the victims that were affected, of course, It's just an unfortunate situation all the way around. And I was also thinking, like, what were they going to do with her character, who
Jerica.
She played, Jerica, who plays Brandon's girlfriend. Like, are we ever going to see her again?
Yeah, what's her name?
She wasn't even at the funeral.
Yeah, what's her name? Tiffany, I think it is, isn't it?
Her real name is Tiffany. Yeah.
I always think of you when I hear that name, Tiffany. It kind of sends it does a certain thing to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes me want to cringe.
It was just like, it's a lot of questions that remain to be, seen with where they're going to head with this direction of the show. But this first episode was really, I was impressed with how they handled it. I wonder if we're ever going to find out how Brandon died.
I think so. They killed him and buried him just that fast. I don't know if they ever talk about it.
I think we're going to hear over the course of the season, because the streets talk.
Yeah, and you would think we would have gotten that in the first episode. They would have. I was hoping that they would mention, he got caught up in a gang fight or gang.
It was a lot of. Well, basically, this is how I see it. The last episode, it was a Chi marathon over the weekend. Mm-hmm. The very last episode, he was cooperating with the police.
Right.
That's a no-no right there.
A big time, right.
So and next thing you know, he came up dead. So I think it alludes to that by them not saying, he turned into a snitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what happened?
So that's basically what happened to Brandon.
Yeah, and you're in Chicago too? That's
exactly the South Side.
South Side. Oh God.
And so what did you guys think of that emotionally charged speech that Brandon's mother gave at the funeral? It was heartfelt, but it was a lot.
It was a lot. She was telling, no lies were told.
No, I get it.
No lies were told.
She told the straight up truth.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it happened to be at that point, where she's bearing yet another child. But you could definitely understand her. And when she explained that, she didn't grow up with love, she didn't have that. And so she didn't know how to give it to her kids. And that is unfortunate because that is as real as it gets, because that's what we see here today. A lot of kids aren't growing up with that kind of love and affection that makes them what, good citizens, people that you can deal with. So I felt
he was up against a lot of obstacles is what she basically said in a nutshell.
Yep.
Right.
He had to overcome a lot. I mean, because she did.
But Brandon seemed to be coming out of it because, he
was.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about his character, because he, except for when he got caught up with the drug dealer.
Otis.
But that was
Otis.
But then
yeah, when he got caught up with Otis, and I know why. He was desperate. He's trying to get his business off the ground. Otis came up with something, and he had to go for it, which was the beginning of the end. But at least he had a very positive stint in that in his role. And I really
in the beginning, he didn't know that dude was a drug dealer. He thought he was a straight up businessman at first.
Right. But, oh well.
Yeah, and Otis, it was surprising. If Otis was involved in Brandon's death, it's like a slap in the face that he would show up to that funeral.
I mean, that's Otis, though.
Listen, I think he was involved. And then he had a nerve to be running for mayor.
For mayor, yeah.
And he was doing a photo op at the funeral. I said, I think he doesn't have any type of conscience. So I don't put anything past him for him to kill Brandon.
Well, look, you know what? That's the next level for Otis. I mean, we got so many politicians like him. It's a shame. They just may be doing it on another scale.
Right.
But, I want to talk about my namesake, Ronnie.
He was not invited in the funeral.
God, could you have let him in? I mean,
it's a sticky situation there because on one hand,
Coogie.
We know this.
That's what I'm saying. He killed her other son, so it's like
so
Brandon had made peace with the fact that I get it, but
exactly.
his mom his mom never had that opportunity. She doesn't share that relationship with Ronnie, so I understand why she would be pissed off and like, nah, you ain't coming up in here.
My
and Kevin ain't want him there either.
Right,
he's got to lay off the alcohol. I mean, Ronnie is drunk every 5 minutes. I mean, it's like all Ronnie
carries around a lot of emotional baggage. He's a veteran. He been to jail. He's murdered someone. He's
got a lot of demons to deal with. Yeah.
And then last season, we saw a lot of the issues stem from, his childhood and his father not claiming him. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot there. And the grandmother, she's kind of verbally abusive to him too.
Right.
So he has a lot of trauma that he carries around. I think that he tries to cope with it the best that he can, but he really turns to the alcohol when he is like so overburdened with all of it. So it's like, I understand it, but I mean, it doesn't make it right, but at least he does try to make amends.
Well, I saw in the trailer for the season, they show him getting baptized. So I think by the end of the season, I think he is going to, he's going to have a turnaround.
Right. Because earlier in the show, he had a Muslim.
That was Common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And, he was trying to help him work with him. And I was just, at that point, I'm thinking, hey, this is good for Ronnie, because he needs help. And unfortunately, Southside Chicago, every man for himself, and until he finds his way.
What the Brandon song said? He said, you got to get out of Dodge. Chicago don't love nobody.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Emmett was like, she crazy. But, I felt Kevin when Kevin said to him, like, when he was like, well, I'm grieving too. When Emmett said, I'm grieving too. Emmett was like, nah, I think she's grieving a little more than you are.
Exactly.
And I'm like, yeah, take that into perspective that this woman has lost two of her children.
Right. He lost some cool points with me with that. I mean, you got to understand this woman. I mean, even just the point at which she made, if you didn't know everything she was going through, once she got through, you got to give her, you got to give her some leeway because she's really hurting. And you know what?
And he is grieving too. That's why he served that unseasoned food.
Yeah, right. But I was impressed with how he stepped up though, because Brandon was really like a big brother for Kevin, and they had really made this bond. Like he was confiding in him and everything. So once Emmett stepped up to kind of fill that big brother role, and even trying to take over the catering business in Brandon's memory,
I was
really
proud of him.
And he showed a lot of growth even last season when he was trying to take on the responsibilities of getting his own place and taking care of his kids the right way. So I think that we're going to continue to see a lot of growth out of him.
I want to see.
Like Emmett.
Definitely going to be the main focus.
I want to see a little more Big Papa. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Now he has a special place in my heart. Yeah. I love Papa. He's always the voice of reason.
Always.
How about the scene where they invited the girls over, and he was the only one that was being a gentleman, trying to let them know that, when you mess around with these girls and you get intimate with them, those are soul ties. Those are soul ties.
But he was but you know what? He was so right. You got to come at a woman a certain kind of way. You can't.
He bared her soul to me.
Yeah, you got to massage her. You got to massage that brain. You got to open her up to you. And you can't.
He was like my queen. I said, Papa.
I'm
he
like,
had more sense than all them kids.
Look, at my age, I started writing notes. I'm like, go on, Papa.
I like Kevin too.
Kevin.
I do too.
But how about the fact that Papa is now dating Maisha, who Kevin used to be crushing on? I'm like, so is this going to lead to some friction between them? I don't know. I mean,
but he told him, he said, just treat her right.
Right.
He said, because she's smart, don't objectify her. So he gave her the green light. He said, go ahead. So I think he was cool as long as he knew that Papa's intentions. Now, somebody like Jake, and not that I don't like Jake, I like Jake too. But
Jake is abrasive
about Jake.
Yeah, Jake.
I'm worried about Jake.
Well, I even thought in prior episodes that Papa would be a better fit for her. Because,
absolutely.
Papa he knows what to say. And as he said, she's a smart young lady. And you got to come at her correct. And he did. So I've always thought that Kevin was just out there. He didn't really, I don't know if he knew
what Kevin was afraid to man up. Yeah, Kevin was on the fence. He was one way with her when he was with her alone, and another way when he was with his boys. So that's immaturity still. Exactly. He's not ready for that. Papa is Papa is an old soul.
Yeah, old man.
Yeah, he is.
He's got an old soul. So But I love to see
we briefly mentioned Jake. Now, last season, his big brother Reg, who was kind of his caretaker, ended up getting murdered. So we kind of were left last season wondering, like, what happened with his situation. And so this first episode, we find out that Otis has taken custody of him, thanks to, his biological mother, who basically sold him off.
Yeah,
bought him.
Bought him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we, for $5,000, I mean, wow. That says a lot about her as a parent.
Yeah, well, she's a crackhead.
Yeah. And we get introduced to another brother who we didn't know that Jake had, and his name is Trig, played by Luke James. So I was excited.
Straight up,
Luke James is very talented, and I don't think I had ever seen him, in this like gangster kind of role, but I like it.
That's what my son said too, because he's like an R&B singer. Like he played Johnny Gill in New Edition show. Like. So I'm happy to see him showing his versatility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and he was bringing it this first episode. I mean, he was going after the guy who actually killed Reg, and Otis and him were kind of like the big gang leaders in the area. So he took down, somebody that was at the top of the food chain.
Yes, he did. And I don't
know how that blowback is going to be.
Oh, he stepped straight to Otis, and Otis had to.
He ain't scared of Otis.
I know,
right?
And you notice how Otis had to chill, because he had, he had to chill big time because he respects him.
I'm just wondering if there are going to be any repercussions of that, because he took out, somebody at the top. So, I don't know.
He must be a threat too, though, because he was like, "Oh, he paid you $5,000." He said, "I'll give you $10,000. You just go down to the courthouse and get that paperwork straight." So you can see that he really wants his brother back.
Right.
and everything. So I hope they can get Jake on the right path, because you can just tell that Jake, he's still a kid, but he's teetering.
Right.
He's teetering.
Right.
Well, I'm wondering too if Jake even knows that that Trig is back around, because according to Otis, Jake thinks that his brother is dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a lot of interesting storylines to follow this season.
Yeah, but I really want to follow Trig though, see where he goes, because he came in strong. I mean,
Trig came right out the bang, and Trig already has a G-Wagon. I was like,
well, was that Reg's G-Wagon? Because Reg had a G-Wagon. He might have gotten that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He might have inherited that from the crew.
Okay. Because I was like, how did he get out the bang and have a G-Wagon already?
Well, I'm sure he got a stash. Well, he's got to have a stash. I mean, he was talking about paying off $10,000.
Giving her $10,000.
I mean, so you know, he has his connects, so I'm sure he's good.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he ended up robbing he robbed one of Otis's guys at the end of the episode. So I'm like, oh, him and Otis about to really be beefing, Trig and Otis. So, you know, I don't know if he necessarily, I mean, he has to know who he's dealing with.
Oh, he
Otis
does. But I think
so, like,
Otis would get.
He's just not afraid.
Yeah, but Otis would get the bad end of that, because he's all out in the open, and Trig knows how to find him. You know, I wouldn't.
Plus, he's trying to run from there. So
that's what I'm saying.
It's not a good time for Otis to be hot right now.
Exactly.
So a major part of this episode too was this wedding that was going on with Kevin's mom and her girlfriend. So it was a lesbian wedding, and it was really beautiful.
Yeah, it took me a minute, not because of the two lesbians getting married. You know, that's no deal. That's not a big deal, but I didn't see it coming in the first episode like that. But I thought it was really nice. Miriam
I love
cool.
Keisha's dress.
Yeah, she's cool. To me.
Yes, Kiesha looks beautiful. One thing I could not get over though is the woman that Kevin's mother was getting married to. The box braids. I could not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Her name is Dre, right?
No, it's Miriam, I think. Isn't it Miriam?
No, the husband. I mean, the one she's married. Her name is Dre.
Okay, yeah. I didn't catch her name,
Dre?
but
okay.
Yeah, it's Dre because Keisha doesn't like her, and she said she was like, I can't stand Dre.
But she was, I like her move at the wedding.
Yeah.
You know, she gave she gave those gifts, and that kind of softened the whole scene.
She does seem like a kind-hearted person.
Yeah,
I was struggling with.
Kevin was for it. Kevin was fine. It was Keisha over there tripping. I don't know.
Keisha kind of settled down when she got the gift, though. She was, but that's women for you. You know, women are gonna be like,
all right,
there we go.
No. I'm not saying that in totality. It's just that, whether she was marrying a man or a woman, if Keisha seems like she's very, very independent. She has a mind of her own. She thinks the way she thinks, and if any little thing could have set Keisha off, So
she was telling Emmett that part of it was, her anxiety about her life changing. Like she's about to go off to college, and she didn't really want to go far from home. But I'm like, that's kind of not an excuse to treat, somebody bad that's about to marry your mother.
But I can understand that too. I mean, her whole life is about to change. And, sometimes you just want something to remain the same. And now.
And she probably was nervous about, and she didn't say this when she was talking to Emmett, but she was talking about going away. She probably worried about her little brother, because her little brother has witnessed a murder. He's lost someone who was like a father figure, a mentor in Brandon. So she's probably like, okay, if I go off to school, who's going to look out for my little brother?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, Emmett's got his back. Emmett's got his back. And And so the whole situation with Emmett, I really wish that things could have worked out with Kiesha and Emmett, because I think they're really
Kiesha.
this couple. But old girl Tiffany, you know, the baby mama, she's a trip.
Tiffany was tripping.
She was tripping, yeah. And I like the way Kiesha checked her and was like, I'm not dressed like this for your man. I'm dressed like this for my. She straight up called.
And little does she know, Emmett seemed like he still liked Kiesha.
He does.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So Emmett and Tiffany is gonna be really short lived.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we seen how he was going after the track coach who was dating Kiesha last season. You know, he is invested in this girl, and right now he's trying to keep it friendly, so he says. But
Emmett's got to stop having those babies, though. I mean, you know, he got to leave those babies alone.
Emmett got a lot of baggage.
Got a lot of baggage.
Yeah, he does. He's trying to grow up. He's trying to do the right thing.
Know,
but
somebody like Kiesha,
like his dad, because his dad was tripping. You see his dad and his mom showed up to the wedding. I
thought that for a second, I thought they had got back together. But I really love the character that plays his Emmett's mother, because she is just like so no nonsense.
Yeah.
And she's really beautiful too. The way she had her hairstyle, her makeup, she was just really on point. Mm-hmm. So it was just beautiful to see Black love at that wedding, and then see all Kiesha looked great. Emmett's mom looked great. I mean, it was really nice.
And
but
even, if you actually have seen Ronnie in real life, I mean, he's a real put together, very well put together. I'd love to see what they could do with that in the show. I guess it would be a different aspect, but you know, that's why I'm really rooting for Ronnie. I mean,
speaking of Ronnie. Pardon? So one of the last scenes of this episode, you see Kiesha sitting at a bus stop, and Ronnie kind of walks by and sees her. Then the next thing you know, the bus drives by and Keisha's gone. Her phone's on the ground. It looks like she's been kind of snatched up. And I'm like, what just happened here? I'm like, please don't turn Ronnie into the bad guy again.
I don't think it. Yeah, I don't
think it was him.
No, I think it was.
I don't think it was either. But he has such a bad reputation amongst the community. Yeah, I don't want them to make him,
I think he was Ronnie was too drunk to try to deal with Kiesha. Kiesha would have messed him up.
He's probably gonna be accused anyway. He's probably gonna be accused.
Oh, definitely.
I thought it was a good look for the show to do this, because just like Finding LaToya and Insecure, our sisters are snatched all the time.
And I think that's what it's more about.
And we don't really hear much about it. And
that's what
they don't really look for our folks like that and everything. So I thought, I was like, this is a good look having her. But I know when I saw her at the bus stop and I knew she was going to see old boy, I was like, no, this nigga gonna let her get on the bus in that neighborhood at this time of night. I was like, you get none.
I was about to say, that says all that needs to be said right there.
Exactly.
You need to drop him.
What kind of dude is that?
Well, I think it's a good point for Ronnie too, because obviously she was snatched up, and that ring of whatever they are, they're snatching young girls, Black girls, and they're selling them into prostitution and things. And I'm sure that's probably what's going on here, and I'm hoping that Ronnie could step forward, because he was the last one to see her. So instead of what I believe he'll do is just lay back and not say anything and just be silent over the whole matter. But
I hope she's okay. I hope please don't let nothing happen to that girl.
Yeah, because Kevin, if you thought he had trauma, but with all of these deaths, his sister disappearance is going to do a number, especially once her mom gets back from her honeymoon to find out that her child is missing.
Yeah,
that's going to be terrible. So next episode, I don't know if they'll reveal, stuff starting to unfold this soon, but that's going to be a terrible thing for that family. Like, my anxiety is sky high just thinking about it.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next episode, because I really want to know what happened to Kiesha.
Yeah. So I really did enjoy this first premiere episode, and it has so many storylines to follow. So I think that we're in for a lot of, good stories, a lot of treats. I know definitely they are bringing in new characters. We know Candy will be appearing in this season. I believe Lala too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some other people coming in to shake things up. I'm looking forward.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
So do you guys want to add any closing remarks or predictions or anything?
I don't have any predictions. I'm right there at the fence between. I just want to, I want to just sit and watch. I want to be a spectator in this position because I'm almost afraid to try to guess what's going to happen with Kiesha. I don't want to say anything about that. I'm afraid.
Well, I want to predict that. I want to predict that once Emmett finds out that she's missing, he's going to get involved in the search. That's going to be an issue for Tiffany. He and Tiffany about to break up because he's going to be involved in that search because he's going to be really concerned that Kiesha is missing. Yeah. And I think there's going to be a turnaround for Ronnie. Like you said, we'll probably see him transitioning during the season and then finally become a new man.
And I hope so, because, even his boys at the bar told him, hey, man, you're drinking way too much. And he was about to take another drink. He leaves. And what does he do? Pulls out a pint in his pocket. And he's sipping on that down the road. So,
we need to get Ronnie in rehab.
Yeah.
And they got to find him something.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for watching our review of the episode, the first episode of The Chi season 3. We will definitely be back next week to do episode 2. And we're looking forward to all that this season has in store. So please drop in the comments and let us know how you felt about the episode. Give us your predictions as well. And be sure to also like this post and click the notification bell and subscribe so that every time we post, you're notified. We are also on Facebook. We're on Instagram and Twitter. So please be sure to follow us there as well. And if you guys don't have any other closing remarks, no?
Good.
All right. Well, I think we're going to call it a night. Thanks again for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You're never too far. Never let a tear drop from my eye. Catch it right away. Make me feel alright. You never let a frown appear upon my face.